Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from Chicopee, Massachusetts. I'm your host, Carrie, and joining me is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Colum. He offers both public and private tours, as well as presentations of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, South Hadley, and Chicopee, Mass. Now you actually lead these tours and give these presentations yourself, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, and this is part of the third level canal tour.
And today he'll be talking about the White and Wyckoff Mill. So tell us about the White and Wyckoff Mill.
Okay, this White and Wyckoff Mill is located at the end of the second level canal. If you're driving on Willimantic Bridge from Chicopee to Holyoke, off to the right along near the railroad bridge, is this White and Wyckoff. It's gone now, but it used to be there. It started off being one thing and one thing only, and ended being one thing. And what it was a card company. They'd make postcards, index cards, greeting cards, any card you can think of. Playing cards, like cards with the ace of spades on it. Anything like that. They would carve up, color, get ready. They had their own line of birthday cards and Christmas cards. They had their own line of postcards. And by doing this, they developed into what now most people call Hallmark cards. And they were the place to go to get a card for yourself, ship it out to a person to tell them happy birthday, and that could be done on a postcard or a greeting card. They would sell them at very low prices. Remember the penny postcards? Most cards back then were a penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies. And you could ship it for 3 pennies or 1 penny. It was cheap. Now, the mill was started by 2 men, and I'll tell you about them in the next portion. And I'm going to tell you what floors did what kind of production there. And then I'm going to tell you why they did not succeed when the 1950s came around. But most importantly, you got to realize what they made is probably the coolest product ever made in Holyoke, and that is the greeting card and the postcard. You can still find them around. Go on eBay, and you can find these White and Wyckoff postcards or White and Wyckoff Christmas cards. They, by far, were the greatest postcard and greeting card maker in the whole world for decades upon decades. And now, they didn't actually make the paper. They just took the paper in from other companies of a certain quality, and onwards they put the design, front and back. And I'll tell you why they came to the demise.
And who was White and who was Wyckoff?
Okay, so we're going to talk about the 2 men that started production at this beautiful mill. Edward White was the first partner, and they started off a division of the Western Tablet and Stationery Company with Edward White as the president, right? And then Wyckoff, after a year, joined in, and what Wyckoff did was it improved the production line, improved the products, and they became best of friends, and probably both golfers together. They had very similar houses. You could almost call them twin houses on Northampton Street. They had very similar landscapes, one done by the Olmsted brothers, the other one just a mock-up of it. And they lived only about 300 yards apart. And so White and Wyckoff, Edward White and Joseph Louis Wyckoff, were the best greeting card company in the whole world. They'd also make very distinctive writing paper, because remember that they are already making postcards and greeting cards which people write on, so they also had a line of beautiful stationery, the most gorgeous stationery, the kind of thing you might write a wedding invitation on, or handwrite a note to a lover and send it through the post service. So the post office must have loved these people.
And so before we continue with the rest of our interview, just to fill our listeners in, if you want to find out more information or sign up for any of his various tours, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org. And there he has both videos of the various stops along each tour, and also past and present photos of the historical sites throughout as well. And if you're interested in setting up a private tour, you can email him directly at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And they are perfect for fun and educational outdoor activities for the whole family or for your group parties, especially those special occasions and get-togethers. They're also good just for getting outdoors for the day. So getting back to our interview, tell us about production at the mill.
Okay, so each floor in the mill had a different production on that floor. That was done for, of course, for efficiency reasons. Now, there's no production of really paper. They just made the stationery or the cards. And the fifth, I'll go from fifth floor to the basement. The fifth floor is where they made puppetries. And puppetry is a place where you store paper at home. And you store it in these little file cabinets and made out of paper. And so you'd have postcards here and birthday cards here and stationeries are right here and small envelopes are right here. So they made the storage items too. The fourth floor, next floor down, was a place that they made empty books and they made tablets to write on. The third floor is a place that they would set up ruled lines onto paper and they'd add the color they need and add the emblems they needed. The second floor was a lot where what you call production, where you'd have the machines cutting up the paper to the size they needed and getting the envelopes ready, so forth. The first floor, where some of the printing took place of the postcard or the birthday card or the Christmas card. So they print these cards right on the first floor. They also had administration there and some storage. And then on the first floor is where a lot of the raw paper was stored. Remember, they're not making paper, but storing it there, and they'd have it at certain larger dimensions they need and then cut it down to what they need. All right. Now, it was not a big place because it didn't have to be. There's no big construction or production going on. But it was large enough that they had to be big, and it was big by vertical height, not horizontal height.
And why didn't they continue to succeed?
Okay. When television came around and people started running commercials, society had to change, and a lot of companies didn't change fast enough, and other companies did, right? And for a lot of other reasons, they started attracting customers that wanted certain lines, names. Like Skinner's Silk was no longer a big deal because people didn't want to know about the silk. They wanted to know about the designer of it, right? Now, in the postcard and greeting card world, they wanted to have a lot of glitter and glass, and they wanted to see commercials which attracted them because this is an emotional subject. To buy a greeting card, a Christmas card, a birthday card, Valentine's card, or even a postcard, you're doing that to a person you like very well. And so commercials were designed to make it attractive to these kind of people. Now, White and Wyckoff didn't do that, whereas Hallmark cards did. And they started getting much more of the business than White and Wyckoff. So White and Wyckoff failed because they didn't change with the social changes of the time.
And thank you, Robert, for educating us on your tours. And we want to thank our listeners for tuning in. And you can also tune in to a large selection of our other podcasts and more at his website. Again, that is holyokecanaltour.org. And again, you can email him directly for private tours or to inquire about anything else at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com.